now I mentioned these kind of three components of the world after October 7th, the attack and the propaganda the day after, the military component, and the PR war, and the defeat that Israel has suffered in the PR war because of its genocide in Gaza. It's just too much for decent people to stomach. The polls that we've been seeing since September are really incredible. And it looks like a total reversal in the way that Americans view Israel. And I see this in my daily life. I mean, I just feel it out there. It's like how I could feel just traveling around the country, interacting with people in 2024 that Trump was going to win. I feel like Israel is never going to be able to recover its support among the American public and is going to be a complete pariah state within 5 years, if not sooner. This is a Siena New York Times poll showing support that for Israel has plummeted. The poll declared that support for Israel in the U.S. has gone off a cliff. 1,300 registered voters responded. 35% expressed sympathy for the Palestinian side, while 34% said they support Israel. 31% said they were unsure or had equal sympathy because, I don't know, maybe you have a political IQ lower than a toaster oven. I don't know why you would just have no opinion. You're just not paying attention, or you just want to be a nice person. But this is something we've never seen before. This is such a credible poll in American politics, where Israel has always enjoyed a wide margin of support over Palestinians. Going back to a 2011 Gallup poll, which found that U.S. adults were more than 4 times as likely to express sympathy and support for Israelis than for Palestinians. And look at the way they frame the poll. I mean, it's a bogus framing. Who do you support more, Israelis or Palestinians? That's not the way the poll should be framed. And so we have another poll that I think was framed very effectively by a group that is supportive of Palestinians, that exists to promote PR, that supports the Palestine Solidarity Movement, but it's a credible poll. The way that it's a YouGov poll. So YouGov isn't going to carry out like a fake poll. You just pay YouGov to ask certain questions. And the framing of these questions is much more sophisticated. And it shows a supermajority of Democrats now support sanctions against Israel, the same ones that brought down apartheid in South Africa. If you look at polls like this, the Siena poll, go into the internals on young Democrats, young Democratic registered voters who are very progressive, support for Israel is in single digits. It's completely cratered, which means they're not going to regain that support when those young people are like 40 years old or 50 years old. But this is incredible. 76% of registered Democrats support a ban on Israeli bonds. Why are employees of public municipalities, public employees in the United States forced to invest in Israel? This is a complete violation of their freedom of association. I think it's unconstitutional, but so many municipalities own Israeli bonds. I think 15% of the bonds in Palm Beach are invested in Israeli bonds, and Israeli bonds have been downgraded since October 7th at least 2 times. They get like a B rating from Standard & Poor's. 75% support restricting Israeli imports of Israeli-made weapons. I mean, that's a no-brainer. 62% support prohibiting entry into the U.S. for Israeli government officials and soldiers. And Zohran Mamdani, I believe, the New York mayoral frontrunner, has reiterated his support for arresting Netanyahu under the ICC warrant. So the day is coming, and the Democratic Party won't listen to them, will they?
No, they won't, because the leadership is still people like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, who, Hakeem Jeffries won't even endorse Zohran Mamdani, precisely because Mamdani represents the base in being critical of Israel and opposing genocide. And as you said, Mamdani has advocated arresting Netanyahu and forcing the ICC warrant if he comes to New York. And think about this too in a media context. A poll showing Americans turning away from Israel is reflexively proof that they're also turning away from the corporate media, because the corporate media has been trying to enlist people constantly in supporting Israel for generations now, and ever since October 7th as well. All the laundering of Israeli propaganda across the political spectrum, from Fox News to CNN to the New York Times. So the fact that you have such widespread popular discontent, it also shows that the media is not doing its traditional job of indoctrinating people. The people are turning away. It's just more proof that people are turning away from these, a traditional so-called credible sources of news, which is to me is a doubly positive aspect of these polls, along with the turning away from Israel.
Yeah, it's happening among younger Jews, as we've talked about. I mean, we're not gigantic outliers here. This is Ali Abunimah citing a Washington Post poll. Almost 2/3 of American Jews say that Israel, which falsely claims to represent all Jews, is committing war crimes in Gaza. 4 in 10 American Jews call it a genocide. Here's the Washington Post headline. Many American Jews sharply disapprove of Israel's conduct of the war in Gaza, with 61% saying Israel has committed war crimes and about 4 in 10 saying the country is guilty of genocide against the Palestinians, according to a Washington Post poll. Are we really, do you feel like we're just complete outliers here, Aaron?
Well, no, of course not. But it's amazing though that the dominant trend now among the base still hasn't reached the leadership of the Democratic Party.
Or the leadership of the Jewish world, or the Jewish communal leadership.
Well, I think they're a lost cause, but I mean,
they are a lost cause, but it's important to draw that distinction.
Oh, of course. But at least with Democrats, like, you think politically at this point, I mean, just even if they have no sense of morals, they don't care about like human life, but just politically, like, look at Kamala Harris. You can make the strong case that she lost the election because she wouldn't distance herself even an inch from Biden on Gaza, even though she had every opportunity to. But she wouldn't do it. Like, why? When politically there must have been some at least discussion internally about, like, this could cost us the election. We need Michigan to win, where there's a large Arab and Muslim population. The young people are not turning out for us because of our support for Israel's genocide. But yet Kamala Harris wouldn't do it. Hakeem Jeffries won't do it. Chuck Schumer won't do it. And just looking at this politically, when you have the Republican Party making it synonymous with Israel, I mean, the extremism of the Trump administration, Mike Huckabee, their Israel ambassador, like, that's the Israel First Party now. So why, if you're a politically, like a remotely politically savvy Democrat, are you still even trying to, outcompete the Republicans when it comes to being Israel first? But that's how beholden these people are to the Israel lobby, to pro-Israel billionaires, that they're still trying to cling on to this apartheid state. And it's money. And I guess the experience of Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman, where they got defeated by AIPAC spending, $20 million or so to defeat Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush. I think that probably still resonates with a lot of people, especially in Congress.
Yeah, it's all about the money. It's all about the Benjamins. It's also, I believe, about the fear of assassination or just personal destruction that public figures would face. There's a fear factor. But in Congress, it's all about the money, and they create you before you even are known to the public. That's one thing AIPAC does. When they find out you're running, when they find out you're elected to a presidency of a historically Black college, for example, you get a call from AIPAC and they offer to send you to Washington to their conference. I mean, they're on top of you before a single vote has even been tabulated, before your campaign even starts. That's how they got Marco Rubio. That's how they got the CIA director, John Ratcliffe. That's how they got Mike Waltz and so many other figures who are in national security positions in the Trump administration, as AIPAC's new CEO, Elliot Brand, said in leaked comments that I published at the Grayzone. That's how it works. So this needs to be challenged from the ground level, from the grassroots, at the city council level, at the school board level. And it will fall on fertile soil. it will fall on fertile soil among the Democrats, and a clash is coming within the GOP. I mean, but specifically within the Jewish world, I mean, change is happening, but too many Jews who understand that this is a genocide are afraid to identify as anti-Zionist or do anything material to, for example, go up in their own synagogues and demand that the Israeli flag be removed from the stage, from next to the bima, to actually make a stand, because the pressure is so extreme and because the entire Jewish communal world in the United States is controlled by Zionist fanatics who are basically sort of religious representatives of the donor class that controls Congress.